Greetings, my fellow YouTubeites. I am ThatCanadianDude, and this is ThatCanadianDude Reviews a Thing. Now, you probably don't know who I am, and if you do, I apologize for what you're about to witness. But as for the rest of you, I am a purveyor of entertainment and recreation. Or a gamer. But not just video games. I also enjoy live games, role-playing games, board games, and, of course, card games. And as someone who enjoys card games, I have of course partaken of the end-all be-all of card games,
Magic the Gathering!
Okay, but sorry, but I've never actually partaken of Tragic the Splattering. No, I'm of course talking about that old-fashioned standby...
Texas Hold'em!
Okay, we're not going that far back. No, I'm of course talking about that bright and colorful game of...
Monopoly!
That's not even a card game, you son of a...
Ah yes, Dominion. For the uninitiated, Dominion is what is known as a deck builder game. In it, you start with a couple of cards, and then use the cards to buy more cards with the intention of having the largest card penis when the game is over.
I know the game mostly for when my friend Chaos spends the entire game buying up all the villages and ends up winning with a score that's over double the runner-up. Seriously, fuck that guy.
The thing about Dominion, however, is that it's incredibly simple while being infinitely deep. Unless you do the Chaos technique, and you know what that means? It's incredibly easy to rip off.
And we're gonna be taking a look at one of those rebuffs today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tanto Cuore, Expanding the House.
Tanto Cuore is a deck-building card game for the mysterious land of Japan. Hopefully you've heard of them, because it's going to make accepting what goes on in here much more manageable. Tanto Cuore, which I believe comes from the Spanish words for call the police, has you taking the role of lords of various mansions. And like any man with too much money, a massive house, and a serious penis extension issue, you compete with other lords to fill your private chambers with the most underage schoolgirls you can find.
Seriously, I'm not one to usually jump on all of the overused cliches of anime, like overly bizarre hair or 12-year-olds built like Playboy models, but this just kind of goes past any kind of simplification that I can think of. I mean, what you're essentially doing is buying little girls with love, which is apparently code for humping pillows.
The game sells itself on its artwork, made by several prolific Japanese manga artists, none of which seem to have seen a human female in the past 80 or so years. I mean, yeah, the art is nice, but it rings sort of like complimenting the cinematography in a porno. And the quality of the art doesn't stop me from feeling dirty whenever I touch them.
True story, I actually bought this game on the recommendation of an old girlfriend of mine, and when I picked it up, one of the employees at the store came up to me and thanked me for being one of the only other people to buy it so that he didn't feel alone. I still see his grin when I close my eyes at night.
From a gameplay standpoint, the game isn't actually that complex or weird. You simply buy cards, use them to get more cards, acquire more cards, use them to buy more cards, more cards, these cards, those cards, that card, up card, down card, left card, every card in between! Cards. What's weird is the cards themselves. Besides the art, a lot of them have little quotes on the bottom, which leads to some weird questions. This one, Francine Barbier, simply says, "Ah, now I remember."
What did you forget? To put on pants? Or that you're being followed around by a pedophilic cameraman?
Another one, a Miss E. Valentine, stands here slowly tearing out your spirit with her eyes. And she has the guts to ask you, do you dislike lilies?
No, I'm perfectly fine with lilies, hay fever notwithstanding. What I don't like is a yellow-eyed homunculus sucking out my soul in order to buy an extra card, I guess.
But out of all of them, my favorite has to be Silk Amanohara, or as she's called, the Exorcist Maid. Because I doubt the things you've done haven't attracted some pissed-off spirits from beyond the grave. What an excellent day for an exorcism.
If I ever wake up on a day that I would call excellent for an exorcism, I'm gonna call Bill Murray before I call any maids, because at the very least, I happen to know that he has experience dealing with the undead. But even with all that, there's still one card that sticks out to me above the rest. It doesn't have a pithy bon mot at the bottom, but I think the art makes up for it on this one. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Felicity Horn.
Wow, where to start with this one? Well, first let's get a fetish counter set up over here. Alright, right off the bat, she's a maid, so that's kind of mandatory. Starting at the top, we see her sporting this season's best shade of I'm running out of paint pink, and below that we have a pair of glasses that I keep mistaking for a monocle. Going past her stylish bow tie, we see Funkin' Wagnall! Milk jugs, the size of, well, milk jugs, held back by what looks to be 2 strips of duct tape. While shockingly there is some outfit beneath that, it quickly gives way to a ludicrously large quantity of midriff before coming to a short miniskirt. How many finishes is that? Oh, and for some reason she has 2 knives. She isn't a card that attacks something. She just has knives. Because knives.
So, with all that said, what do I actually think about this game? In all honesty, it's kind of boring.
While I do enjoy Dominion and games like it, they are by far my least favorite kinds of card games. Games like Bang, the card game, offer a more compact experience, while games like Android Netrunner give a much deeper experience. Tanto Cuore's only real saving grace is the art, as previously mentioned, which is really good, if somewhat unsettling at times. But pretty art does not a good game make.
Really, the only reason I even keep the game around is to annoy my friends and scare off potential girlfriends. Or friends. Or anyone that would consider coming over. In that respect, it's done an excellent job so far.